Welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. This is episode 175, in where I will inevitably derail us because it is a Monday evening on a holiday weekend.
That's all right. I'm drinking scotch, so I will dive headfirst into your derailments.
Whoa. Okay, this could be a long episode. Bright side, brother-in-law is done mowing the back lawn, so we might not hear the lawnmower again.
Excellent. It's finally cooling down, so the AC might be off for now.
Today's the cool day of the week, so we're like 27 today was our high, but we're forecasting for like low 30s for the rest of the week. No. So much no. My sister and I had made plans to go to the very dangerous store. We call it Dollarama.
Yes.
It's just stuff goes in your basket.
Yes.
Stuff goes in your basket, and you're like, I did not need $40 worth of stuff. How did this happen? How?
And yet
it happens. We're not going this week because neither one of us likes the idea of walking anywhere in 30 plus degree heat. We're like, no.
No.
Nothing we want to do is that time sensitive, but we can wait and hopefully next week the weather is not quite so gross.
Yeah, we're doing like low to mid 30s during the day, but mercifully we're going down to 17 at night.
Oh, beautiful. That at least makes the nights manageable.
Yeah. As long as the air is moving, it's actually all right.
Cool. All right. Well, now that nobody has idea what we're talking about, I'm Jocelyn. My co-host is Diana. Technically, we're a knitting podcast, though heavens knows everything else is also up for grabs.
Anything and everything.
We've only been doing this for 3 years. I still can't get an intro out. It's fine.
It's part of our charm, right?
Sure. We'll use that word.
Yeah, charm. Very charming.
It's a word. It can be put there. Not sure it's the word I'd choose, but okay, cool. Fine. Guys, I've had coffee today. It's gonna be cheaper.
Shall we start with what's in our cup?
Sure. I mean, other than the fact we already know you're drinking the whiskeys.
Yeah, I'm drinking some Japanese whiskey.
Okay. You couldn't even get continental whiskey. You had to go like from across the world whiskey.
Okay, you know what? I had to be out of the apartment for an hour the other week. Last week? Gosh, that was only last week. So we got a bug problem in this entire apartment building.
Okay.
So they were doing a treatment for it last week, so I just had to be out for an hour. And I'm like, so I drove Chris to work, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do for another half hour? So I drove over to the LCBO, and I just wandered up and down the scotch aisle enjoying the air conditioning. And then I figured I should eventually pick a scotch, and I figured I hadn't ever bought a Japanese one before, so I bought a Japanese scotch.
It's a perfectly reasonable way to spend an hour.
I thought so.
Sounds good. And the treatment worked? You guys were able to deal with insects staying on the outside instead of being on the inside?
Generally, this is like our third treatment. We've got another one tomorrow.
You usually have to do multiples if you've got a bug problem.
Yeah.
We are constantly battling the ants. Ants are an issue where I live. So are rabbits, squirrels, and mice. But I live in a suburb, so...
Yeah,
the dogs take care of the problem in the backyard. We haven't had any rabbits since Willow caught one a couple of years ago.
Ooh, yeah, that'd do it.
That made a huge mess. Brother-in-law did not enjoy cleaning that up. We pointed out his German Shepherd, his mess.
Mm-hmm.
We're not her favorite. He's her favorite. He can do it. He's daddy. But it's just, I live near a river, so it's mice are sort of come with the territory. Squirrels, because I've got trees, it just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, the bright side is in the wintertime, I can see deer eating off tree bark across the street from me.
Oh, that's cute.
So, like, they get real close. They're super comfortable, or they've grown up within city limits pretty much, and they just don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like deer around here just don't care about us humans. They're like, eh.
Doesn't Winnipeg have like the largest urban deer population in Canada or something?
We're up there. We're definitely up there because it is not uncommon. But I mean, come on, we get traffic jams in Winnipeg because we'll stop to let ducks cross the road.
Well, yeah, you're not going to run over the cute little ducklings.
We don't run over cute little ducklings. We don't even run over gooselings, and we know how annoying they are when they're adult sized. We still won't run over the little ones. We won't run over the adult ones either.
The adult ones will just damage your car. The little ones are too cute.
The little ones are cute. The big ones will damage your car. But yeah, no, like it's not unheard of for me to be listening to the morning radio program, and for the guy who does the traffic, again, obviously pre current world issues, and have him go, okay, well, there's a bit of a backup on insert main street here because ducks are crossing, or geese are crossing, or there's a deer herd going across the street, and you're like, yeah, sounds legit.
I was late for work one time because there was a group of turkeys crossing River Avenue.
Yep, sounds
Like,
legit.
that's a main route. And just these wild turkeys were just like, la 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 la, across the street. And I'm like, beep beep. And they're just like, what?
Yeah, they're like New Yorkers. They're like, yeah, we're walking here. What do you want?
And then they just like stopped and looked at me, and I like drove forward, and they're like, what? And they're like, wow,
What you
okay.
gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah, no, we're pro Animal Crossing in this city, and I love it. Mind you, I don't get
Turkeys.
chased by Canadian geese anymore because I don't like my cane. So
Goose stories. I think we've all been traumatized by a goose at some point.
gone to the University of Manitoba. You've had an up and close personal encounter with those stupid things.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, we have. Stupid things nest right beside the doors, too.
They
Like,
do, and you're like, how am I supposed to get to class, buddy?
like, why'd you put it there? There's lots of people here.
There's
Why'd
like
you put it there?
30,000 of us this time of year. Why? Why did you think that was a good idea? And it's not like we've gone anywhere. We've been here for a while. The buildings are made of brick and mortar and stone. We've been around for a while.
But no, the planter right beside the door, that's
That's where you need to be? Cool. Yeah. And then you get into class and the teacher's always like, or the professor's always like, well, we can see you who braved the birds this morning. Because you know somebody didn't. Because somebody went, no, I just no. I'm going to go study somewhere else and I will just go to my next class. I'm just not dealing with that today.
yeah.
Joys of living with wilderness. I wouldn't change it.
What
All
are
right.
we supposed to be talking about right now? Aren't we a knitting podcast?
We are. We're supposed to be talking about what's in our cup.
Okay. Did
And
we
it's
do
my
that?
turn.
Oh, right. There we go. Okay, that's where we're at. Oh, we're super duper on track.
There's going to be so many cuts this episode. It's going to be ridiculous. All right. We're at 7 o'clock on a Monday evening for Jocelyn. So I am drinking some delightful post-dinner dessert in my Cozy Up Knits Knit City 2018 mug. Can you believe that was already 2 years ago? So I'm enjoying some minty dark chocolate hot chocolate. It is all the words that make it sound not good, dairy-free, gluten-free, plant-based. But you know what? It's free of corn, so Jocelyn can have it. I can find the dark hot chocolate in the city, usually at my local superstore. I can't ever find the minty dark chocolate, so I order that from the Big A. Sad,
Okay.
but you know what? I get it, and I like it. And at least when they shipped me the dark chocolate, they shipped my headphones in the same box instead of using 2 separate boxes,
Oh, good.
which helped.
I love when you get a giant Amazon box and it's like one little thing. Like, why? What
a
algorithm
box.
thought this was a good idea?
I got a box about the length of my forearm and about the height of half my forearm, and it had a tiny package, no bigger than a ball of yarn. Why? Who thought? But the larger item I'd received earlier that week, guys, it was lotion, came in one of those bubble wrap envelopes.
Sure.
Charge of the shipping
Sure.
process here, people. You're crazy. All right, let's talk cool threads because I've got one and it's gonna have to come up shortly because we've already been chatting for like I don't even know how long.
Too long. Okay, let's have it.
I have finished a cardigan. More importantly, I finished a cotton cardigan.
Ooh.
I reclaimed some yarn that had been lovingly knit into a sweater that we discovered was too big by one of our patrons. It's actually Susanna. Hi, Susanna. And I used it to create the Campfire Cardigan. Now, I am not going to call this a beginner cardigan simply because of how the instructions are written. They're not terribly clear on the free version, and I haven't gotten around to buying the PDF version to see the PDF version's better. So you kind of got to have a sort of you need to have done a garment before in crochet, because if you've done a garment before in crochet, when you're reading the instructions on the blog, or I'm assuming the PDF because I didn't buy it, it makes total sense to me. But I've made what at this point? This is my 5th crochet cardigan in 3 months.
Sounds about right.
I'm super comfortable with crochet instructions. And as we were discussing before we started recording, I'm going to have to start calling myself an advanced crocheter. Since I can now crochet from charts, instructions, and written instructions, video instructions, charts, and when the instructions are literally round 1, 6 stitches, having read the blurb that tells me how she does her increases.
It's economical in terms of space on a page.
What I'm reading, like the pattern, and I'll talk about it in works in progress that I'm currently working on, I freaking love it. I love it. I know how she does her increases for her circles. I know what it is because she took some really good photos to tell me what it should look like when it's finished. And she literally just has the rounds listed and the stitch count totals. And it's beautiful. I get a set of instructions. They fit my screen at the larger size font that I need. There's no scrolling. There's no rolling. I just look up. I do my counts. I'm done. I'm super, super huge fan of it for some stuff. I mean, it's not going to work for everything, obviously, but it works in the case of the stuffed toy creation. But this is the Campfire Cardigan. It is finished. It is done. I used some random blue denim cotton that I had, and the regular cotton for the body and the sleeves is made out of some Caron cotton cakes. Do I still have leftover cotton? Yeah, I always have leftover cotton. So more things will be made. I don't have enough to make any larger items. I literally made a huge, hey, look, I'm frogging stuff today, so I literally have needles wrapped around me. So, daisies, knocking things. So I've been wearing that for a while, and I'm going to take it off so I can talk about it as a FO here in a few moments and show guys the whole 9 yards. So I've been wearing it a lot in the basement because cotton. I don't want to die when I go outside to take the garbage out or when I'm watering stuff. So it's beautiful. Do I take it outside to wear on walks? No, it's a long sleeve cardigan, guys. It's a little early in the season yet. But yeah, I'm going to talk about it more in FO, so I'm just taking it off for now so that I've got it available to discuss. But I have been wearing it. It's been living on my thingy. And it's been doing the cotton thing, which means getting drapier and squishier and softer.
Nice.
It's cotton. Though nice, because I put it through the washing machine and the dryer, no pilling for that cotton.
Nice.
And that's saying something because cottons can pill quite easily. Like Pima cotton's known to pill quite easily. And it's probably got something to do with the nature of the construction for the Pima weight. But this stuff, no way. I haven't had any pilling yet whatsoever. And I absolutely over dried it because I forgot it was in there and set the dryer off twice. Oops.
Good job.
Oh, Jocelyn. I'm so smart.
But hey, it was just the test to see if it would pill.
Yes.
You did it for podcast content.
Absolutely. Oh, my word. Oh, that's not a lie at all. I'm going to sit here and drink my hot chocolate for a second. Maybe hot chocolate, lights behind the camera flashing at my face. I wonder why I'm slightly overwarm. With damp hair down.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us into Woolly Workings.
It does. Everything's okay with the universe because I still have way more projects than you do.
I have 4 this week.
I have more than 4.
You do have more than 4. But I'm not that far behind.
You are on your 3 weeks post one job, pre another job mini vacation.
Yes.
So I expect there to be FOs every week, at least one. Even if it's a sleeve or a swatch, I expect something.
Well, I have a swatch this week.
Good. That's an FO. It counts.
Okay, sweet. There we go.
Something. You are home. It's the middle of a pandemic. You're not going anywhere. Though, seriously, when we get to wool gathering, you're telling the internet the U-Haul story because I got photos for that. I need that. I need the deets.
Oh, U-Haul stories. Okay.
Oh, it's going to be so good. All right, so let's talk swatches.
All right.
Because everybody loves a swatch. If you don't know, thanks to Ravbot.
Ravfax.
Ravfax. Thanks, Ravfax, on Twitter. So Ravelry brought Diana created on Twitter. Jocelyn discovered a knit-along that was starting that was geeky themed and inspired by Lattes and Llamas, who has amazing geeky stuff. Amazing geeky stuff. And they're
So
doing a
good.
sweater. They're doing it all over Colorworks, or they're doing a Colorworks sweater in a video game themed. Do we know what the sweater looks like? No, it's a mystery knit-along. We just get to know it's a sweater.
Yep.
So we knit swatches, and I had to knit two.
Those are dramatically different sizes.
This is a 4mm on the Wee Dude. The Wee Dude's a 4mm. For the record, the pattern calls for a 3.75 on the body, I think, on a sport weight.
I don't know.
I think it's either 3.5 or 3.75. And I was like, ha ha, on a sport? Are you nuts? Have you seen my knitting? I started on a 4mm. I went, that should be fine. That's going up a size or two. We should be good, right? That's about usually all I have to do. There's no give. It's a snug swatch. So you all know I knit tight. This is 2 stitches too few at 4mm on a sport weight.
Oof.
2 stitches too few. For fun, when I did the first swatch, I flipped so I would know which one I'd want color contrast and main color. So I did the initial swatch, and the Mario Kart stars are white, and then on the back side of it, because you knit it in the round, I did the Mario stars in the black. That made my brain hurt a little bit because I had to flip the colors halfway through each row of swatch. So that was a thing for me. But we made it, and it is in fact my very first color work ever, is this swatch. So I have never done color work before, and I started with a swatch in the round, and I dicked around with the pattern a little because I switched the colors.
So you can never just leave things be.
I really can't. So thanks to Asa, who I sent the photo to and said, oh my word, somebody help me read my stitch count. Read it for me, did the math. I said, that's too tight. It's going to be too tight. It's not going to fit. I'd have to knit a way larger size, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, let's jump a needle size, because I'm 2 stitches short, right? So I'm either going to be a 4.5 or a 5mm. So I'm like, I don't like the fabric. It's really dense and there's no move. So I moved up to a 5mm. And in this one, I played around with my floats. So on my first swatch, I caught my float every 4 stitches max. On this one, I didn't bother catching my floats till we got to 6 stitches.
All right.
This one has more give. Fabric moves a lot better, so we're a lot more sweater-like. My stars are super, well, screwy. My mom called while I was mid one row, so I've got one dude with eyeballs, because he's got an extra row of eyeballs, so he's got like 3 rows of eyeballs instead of 2 eyeballs. I've got one star whose bottom section is a little white, but mostly black, because, again, my mom had called, and I was mid-swatch, and I just answered the phone. So not my best color work, being the second piece of color work I've ever made in my life. But this one's 2 stitches too big.
Gosh darn it.
I am not knitting a 3rd swatch. I am not doing it. It is not happening. I like this fabric. I am going to make, instead of the 52-inch bust, which is my bust, I'm going to make it goes 48, 52. What's the one below 44? Is it 46?
Sounds right.
I think it's a 46. I'm going to double check that. I'm going to do that, and if it's a 46, I'm going to measure my upper bust and below my bust. So I'm going to take the boobs out of the equation, and I'm going to steek this, insert swear word. I'm going to steek this bad boy. I'm going to, when we finally cast on for the body, I will put the 5 stitches right in the middle front, and I'm just going to cut up the middle and make it a cardigan. And I'm going to take the boobs right out of the problem.
Sounds like a plan.
And then I'm going to have a color work retro video game monotone, because I'm obviously making mine in cream and a dark gray. This yarn, by the way, is some absolutely gorgeous. For everybody who's listening, it's like, Jocelyn, what color are you making it out of? Jocelyn's making it in gray and white, because neither her or Diana are very interesting.
Well, the pattern was suggesting, was it black and gold or something?
I would have loved to have done it in black and gold, but I can't read the gray stitches. Never mind the black stitches. That would just be asking for trouble.
Well, yeah, and the gold was not gonna look good on me, so we ended up with 2 very similar colors.
So this is the two of us shopping on two different websites at the same time. We both end up with gray and white.
But I at least went with a blue gray. My dark is a blue. Not that you
Nope.
can tell.
Yeah, mine's definitely a charcoal gray, and I got mine from Yarn Canada, and I bought some Briggs and Little in their sport. So this is a non-superwash sport weight yarn in a cream, and it says dark gray is the color tabs for it. So I have wound all my skeins when they arrived. They sit in the super sexy Skip the Dishes bag. Super sexy Skip the Dishes bag.
Nice.
Yeah, here's our advertisement. We are not, nobody pays us to advertise things, guys. It's just us. So my yarn is protected in its thermal insulated lunch bag.
Because, it's important to thermally insulate your yarn.
Well, that size bag, like buy grocery, small grocery, wet bag or cold bag, it's perfect for 6 skeins of sport weight yarn to just stack in there perfect. And as the sweater grows, the yarn goes down and the sweater will fit in there.
Okay.
So like I picked it because it's a good storage device. So I've done my swatches and we're going with the bigger one because the bigger one just actually drapes. The little ones, there's no draping. We're not.
Fair.
The 5 millimeter is going to be a comfy, squishy sweater. The other one's going to be.
I think your mic is hitting the needles there.
It's probably. Let's take that off.
Oh, there we go.
Frogging today. Let's take those off. I forgot that they were on there. So I stick needles before I put them away. I just strap them around my neck. So that's my swatching story.
All right.
I have to knit a swatch for the flat white. I couldn't bring myself to do it today.
So I have the exact same swatch, which I did on a 3.5.
Oh my God.
And so the method I'm using for dealing with the two colors is one in each hand, and my gauge when I knit continental is looser. So, and because the contrast color is really the color that you use the most of in this swatch, my gauge came out kind of loose. The only thing that was remotely the right size I could find to block this on was a peanut butter jar, and it was kind of large. So this is like super duper blocked. And so it's a little too big. So I'm just going with the 3.5 anyway, and if it comes out a little big, it's a little big. It's fine. I also was trying out different ways of capturing my floats on this one, and you can see I have like a little divot in the middle of my stars here, so I am not capturing my floats that way on my sleeve that I have now started.
Awesome.
Oh, yes. My colors are Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in Midnight Heather, which is the dark blue, which reads as gray on camera, and Oyster Heather, which is reading as beige on camera. So, that's great. Beige. Beige, beige, beige.
Oh, well, you like beige.
Mr. Diana likes beige, and it's rubbing off on me.
You did marry him. Isn't that what happens with married couples? They start to turn into each other after a while?
Oh. Mournful sounds.
Hey, I look forward to when he picks up knitting.
I mean, he does chainmail, so that's like manly knitting?
Yeah,
Heavy quotations?
I would buy that.
Anyway, so clue 1 is a sleeve. It is Tetris blocks. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of fun. I only screwed it up and had to re-knit rows a couple of times because I was not paying attention.
That'll be the trick, hey? Paying attention.
Yeah. So I also decided I would separate each pattern repeat with my lovely nerdy D20 markers. My polyhedral dice markers. So I've got my D4 and my percentile on here. It brings me joy to use nerdy stitch markers for a nerdy sweater. So
I like the way you think.
And it's fitting my one little bit of arm very nicely. So I'm really excited for this. My gosh, this is warm. Wool really retains heat. Good grief. That's toasty. This is a hardcore winter sweater.
Hence my other thinking behind, yes, the cardigan idea is a great idea for me. I'm going to melt to death in this thing otherwise. There's no way I'd wear it as a pullover.
I'm also really delighted that my yarn comes in pre-wound 50-gram balls because it makes it a lot easier to manage.
Oh, yeah. I'm already dreading the yarn management, but that's fine. I knew what I was doing, and I really wanted it to be Briggs and Little yarns, so.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, so I am super happy with my decision.
I think I figured out my tension issues with the, because I'm doing this magic loop because I don't like using DPNs because I just get ladders up the sides. So on my swatch, I had, oh, that's the even worse side. But like right where it was folded for magic loop, it's like bubbly and like not at all flat. And yeah, so I was paying a lot more attention to that on my sleeves.
It's working
So
out better?
It's still a little bit bubbly, but not nearly so bad. So I just got to be extra careful about it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not an uncommon problem with some magic loop stuff.
I just would rather not have bubbly sleeves, you know?
That's fair.
All right, your turn.
Wondering what I'm doing. I'm frogging a project as we record, guys. It's making life interesting. The volume of projects whips I have are making other people nervous. All right, let's do a quick talk about the other thing I finished, which is the Campfire Cardigan. I can drape it back on my chair and put it back on. This is it. The entirety of it. Sewed together, ends woven in. We've got front flaps. We got back flaps. We've got hemming. This is long. I can wear this with leggings. It definitely goes past the butt.
Nice.
Which is what the pattern calls for.
Looks so
nothing
comfy.
fancy. Done in a single crochet stitch. Single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet.
I don't know. You made it.
I did, but it was like almost a week ago now. I did not worry about making the stripes match. So, like the other patterns that I did where I didn't worry about making the stripes match, it looks great. And now I can put it back on because we've talked about it. I made the sleeves extra long because I have really long arms and I like really long sleeves. And because it's cotton, we're still relaxing and growing into it. I did make a change on the front collar piece. This is supposed to be ribbing, and it's supposed to be a little wide rib border around the collar. But when I sewed it together and I put it on, because I done the front flaps were the XL. No, the front flaps were the 2XL for the boobs. The back is a medium, because that's the size differential I'm running with. And because this is in pieces, it works perfectly fine to do that. So this closes up in the front just fine on its own, like it's supposed to, without the rib. So I'm already sitting up at the back of my neck on the back, and I didn't want it coming farther up my neck, not for like a summer light fall cardigan. That'd be too much weight up here for my tastes.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went with a simple single crochet edging detail around, and I called it done. But I did do the ribbing everywhere else. So.
Oh, it looks really good.
Oh, I'm so happy with how it turned out. Hot chocolate. All right, I still have 2 things to talk about.
I still have 3.
Beautiful. You're up.
All right. While we are recording today, I am working on the socks for Mr. Diana. These came with me on a trip this week, which I'll talk about later. But these are just vanilla socks with a fish lips kiss heel, which I think I said correctly. I am quite happy with how my self-striping yarn worked out in the heel, because the whole bottom of the heel is this dark green, and then it just like striped really nicely up the back of the heel. And I don't know, the yarn behaved nicely for this heel, because it's a short row heel, so sometimes the self-striping yarn just like does something weird and the back of the heel is like bleh. But this heel is not bleh. It looks quite nice.
Excellent. I'm glad. I am paying attention. I'm sort of glad seeing at the camera lens and down. But yeah, I caught the stripes there.
So this is online super socky 4-fatch. No. Online Super Sock.
Ah,
The forest color, the green self-striping. Sock the first.
sock the first.
Sock the first. So last week I was like 2 rows shy of the heel. This week I've got a heel and a couple more inches.
Excellent.
It has not been my main project. So normally socks are my travel project, and we're not traveling much these days.
Not as a general rule, no. I made the smart decision to stay home this long weekend. Never mind, that's the decision I would make any long weekend.
Yeah, things were
Yeah.
kind of busy.
No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. I guess that means I'm up again.
It does.
Do I want to talk about a sweater or do I want to talk about a stuffed toy?
Toy, definitely toy.
Okay, let's show you some discombobulated random dinosaur body parts. Oh, I have the cat blanket too. Okay. I forget because the cat blanket's already in use. On my 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, because what crochet hook size don't I have? I've been making a dinosaur. I have a body and a head. These look amazingly funny.
It does look a little funny.
There's nothing to tell you what it's supposed to be, but I have to sew on the dragon tail, and I've got to sew on my spines for my dragon head, and I have to sew on my nose. Sew on my nose still. Need the nose.
Okay.
And there's some embroidery I'm going to do for the eyeballs. Sew the nose on. And then I got to attach feet. So, got 2 feet done. And the feet look funny. They look really funny till they're stuffed and sewed on the body. But I want to take a little bit of white cotton yarn and embroider some toes first.
Oh, that'll be cute.
So I need to make 2 arms to go with my 2 feet. I only need 1 tail. So I'm done with my tail. I only need 1 nose, so I'm done with my nose. But I only have 2 medium spines and 2 large or small spines. I need 2 large spines still and a belly patch. So I need 2 large spines, a belly patch, and 2 arms. And then I can sew this strange conglomeration of small circle shapes together to make a dragon dinosaur. And to keep it all corralled, it lives in my yarn bowl. Because, really, this looks ridiculous. Super funny. But, oh no, he ran away. But when I attach it to the body, the dinosaur tail.
Okay, I see it.
So I got to finish making this. This is a little stuffy made out of literally scrap leftover yarn from the cardigan that is on my person right now. For a wee human that is due in October-ish. So I gotta finish making the constituent parts and sew it together. Phaedra already uses this as a pillow. So, that's good and helpful.
Your cat is a queen that requires a pillow?
My cat has many, many things. I finished her blanket.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. This was another scrap yarn project. So I'd done the first side, which we talked about last week, in my Thick and Quick bulky that I'd gotten for my birthday from Brandy. And then I had a little bit left over, and I had a bunch of worsted weight that I held double at the edge, and I just made a stripy backside with some white, some golds, warm greens, and some blue and tan, blue and white, blue and tan, blue and cream. And I made it perfect size to sit beside me on the desk and not super drape over and become a problem. So that's also an FO this week because it's done. The cat's already sleeping on it most of the time. And it keeps her corralled.
Stops trying to sleep on the other projects?
Well, no, she still sleeps on the other projects, but she doesn't try to sleep right in front of me while I'm working because she's got her own padded comfy space, so she sleeps there beside me. Instead of literally on top of me going, "Hey, mommy, what's up?" I'm like, cat. So
that cat.
That cat. You can go. I've only got one more thing.
All right. I know many people were hoping that this would be an FO this week. It is
Oh my
not
God.
quite because I was too excited about the Colorworks sweater, but I'm really freaking close to being done the Celtic Myths. Like it's like I have that much edge left.
Oh, I beg of you, get it done.
If I had not done the Colorworks sweater, it would be done right now, but I was too excited.
That's fair. The only thing holding me back from casting on that this morning when I read it was the fact it's sleeve. And my brain went, no.
So, once more with feeling. I'm zooming out a little bit. There we go, it fits in the frame. This is the Celtic Myths Shawl Fingering Weight edition that I started like 6 years ago.
I think that's our generalized estimate start date, potentially earlier, but for sure 6.
That is out of Juniper Moon Farms Zoe base, which is cotton and linen, which has a lovely texture. Let's not dip that in the scotch. It's got a lovely texture in the stockinette, and this crazy Celtic pattern on the.
I love that cable.
Wow, it is not showing up super well in this light. I apologize for the crap lighting in this room. The sun is down. I'm doing my best.
No, I gotta get you some light boxes.
Yeah. Anyway. So, one more week and it'll be done. I swear. I swear.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, you got the week off. You're between jobs. There's no reason why you can't.
There is no reason why I cannot. I will just probably finish the mystery sweater clue first because Colorworks sweater.
Also, I did warn you that I was going to be super hardcore about making sure you get your clues done.
Well, look who's like halfway done a clue already.
Look who can do a sleeve in 2 days versus takes a week. Ma'am, I've done 3 sleeves this week. I'm sure I can handle 1.5 more. It's Monday. I'm frogging.
So I'm gonna do my sleeve before I go back to the shawl, just because sleeve.
The sleeve?
Because color work.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna finish the dinosaur and the sleeve I'm currently working on before I cast on the 8-bit sleeve.
That's fair.
Just because I don't know how long Phaedra will leave the random dinosaur body parts alone.
Yeah, better sew those together right quick.
I better get that finished and sewn together real fast, just in case she decides that a scale would make a great chew toy or something ridiculous. So, while it wouldn't hurt her, it would drive me crazy to have to make another scale because one of them's been chewed on.
I can just see that happening.
So
like, I've lost my nose.
Yeah, I would send you that text. The tail's missing. Watch that and go, what?
Oh,
my tail's missing.
I know exactly what tail you're talking about.
Hey, me and my sister have been discussing turning my hair mermaid green.
That's different.
So doing like a deepy kind of green teal with medium lights in the teal and the highlights in a silvery blue.
That'd be nice.
Wasn't it, though? If you watched our YouTube live last week, you saw everyone, the internet saw my sister. She poked her head in. Her hair is currently a faded raspberry red. It's the
same color as my back right now. I got so sunburned on the weekend.
Yes, but hers doesn't hurt. Yours is probably at the painful itchy stage.
It really is. Like, it's bad. Like, it's bad.
Are you using ice to keep it cool?
Ice, aloe, lying there feeling sorry for myself.
These are all valid options. Valid options. And lotion. Lots and lots of lotion. And like when you think there's enough lotion, more lotion.
Oh, so much lotion. There has been so much lotion.
All right. Last project for me. I finished 2 things this week. My goal was 4, and I almost got to 4. Noting I'm short 2 arms, 2 scales, and a belly patch. There'd be a done dragon. And I've been working on the niece's sweater. So this is the body of the flax that I've been knitting for the niece. It is being made out of two colors of fingering weight yarn from Manos del Uruguay. One of them is in an eye-searing pink that causes everybody grief and shame. I have not sewn in ends. No ends have been sewn in. And the other color is a highly variegated highlighter pack rotation. I paired it with a beautiful sparkly gray for the ribbing and the collar. And I finished a sleeve. One sleeve is done.
Oh, that's so close to being done.
I am working on the second sleeve right now. So for me, for sleeves, I can pick up stitches and knit the sleeve and have it attached to the body. I hate doing that. It's also 25 degrees or higher most days in Celsius where I live. And even though I live in a basement, I don't want the sweater in my lap right now. I don't want it. Nope. So I'm doing a Jocelyn trick. So I cast off the shoulders with the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And I'm going to just sew my sleeve into my armhole. And because I did the super stretchy bind off and I did a very nice loose cast on, there's not going to be any tugging.
No, that should work just fine.
It'll work just fine. So here it is, one sleeve done. The pink, I'm going to have leftover highlighter variegated. I hope you wanted some in your advent calendar because here's a sneak for you, Diana. You're getting some. And then there will be at least one mini of some sort of violetly colored yarn coming to you.
Done for violently colored yarn.
Excellent. For a scrappy blanket, I feel like that's a perfect pop of color where people are just going to be like, what is that? And you're going to be like, it's a story, let me tell you. I did the cuff, the hem on the body, and the collar are 1 inch of 1x1 ribbing. I did the cuff of the sleeve at 2 inches of ribbing. So the sleeve is twice the width, or cuff is twice the width of the hem, which will look really nice and sharp. And it also gave me the 20 inches I needed to get to for her arm. That's right, 20 inches from her armpit to her wristy.
That thing is all arms.
She's all arms and legs. There's no bones to her. So I'm holding the last of the pink in my hand, and it is a bright pink. This camera is not really blowing it out. It's just that pink.
It's just that pink.
It's
I've seen
just
it
that
in person.
pink. It's just that pink. And I'm holding it with a skein of highly variegated highlighter color pack. Guess what? I have another little small ball like this in highlighter, but I don't in the pink. I have super small scrap, like you would be nervous to knit a mitered square out of it because you're pretty sure it won't make it. Size scrap. So like tiny amounts of backup pink. So here's hoping I can get to the end of the second sleeve because I've just started decreases.
It'll probably work.
I'll be tight, but I should make it. So there's a little bit of yarn chicken going on this week for me. But after crocheting 2 sweater arms in a size 20-inch length for Auntie Jocelyn and 1 20-inch sleeve for the niece, the fourth sleeve just didn't get done, guys.
That is a lot of sleeves in 1 week.
And guess what I have to knit this week? Another freaking sleeve! That's why when I looked at the clue for the 8-bit pattern, I went, really? No. Just no. I'm gonna finish the sleeve. I'm gonna finish my dinosaur. I'm gonna take a break and work on something else for a day, and then I will start the 8-bit sweater sleeve. Can't.
Good call.
Ugh. Be so bad. So I've got my first 8 inches done, so now I gotta process the 6 rounds of decreases and then knit to what did I get to? I got to 18 inches an arm and then do 2 inches of ribbing. I have enough gray. I have enough highlighter. It's the pink. So here's hoping the pink makes it, and I should know in a day or so. The other reason I can't start the 8-bit sweater is I knit the swatch on these Chowgu red laces on the 5mm, and that's what I'm making the sweater sleeves out of. So, gots to finish, you guys. I even wrote down my decrease rows with the little boxes so I can check them off. And the paper's crinkly because I did all this prep work and then I took my sleeve to bed with me and knit on it till I fell asleep today. What? I need to get progress done. I was tired and I wanted to lie down. It just made sense. So hopefully I have at least a finished dinosaur and sweater next week.
I look forward to it.
Here's hoping.
So
So
I should talk about my last thing real quick.
yeah, that's it for me. Heavens knows there's stuff all over the place, but I don't know what I'm going to pick up and work on when I take that sleeve break on Tuesday. And Wednesday. Let's be honest, I'm putting off sleeves till like Thursday.
All right. I've knit like 2 rows on this, but hey, that counts. This is, no wait, actually that's the wrong side.
But hey, that counts.
It's 2 rows, but hey, I'm still very slowly working on the Comfort Fade Cardi for that knit along that we started. Remember that we were doing that?
You mean the bag of yarn I've got sitting beside me that I have to knit a third freaking swatch for to make sure, and I'm going up again. I'm going out to a 6mm because that's worsted weight yarn for that sweater. And it calls for like a 475, and I was going to try a 5. I know better. We're starting with a 6, guys. Yikes. And I want that to be a pullover. But yours looks good, and yes, 2 rows counts.
So this is the yoke of my Comfort Fade Cardi knit out of a kit from Sew Into Knitting, which is a Manitoba dyer.
Yeah.
And my color A is this light, dark, medium gray, white, variegated cake. Shades of gray. Like, the occasional speckle of yellow for some reason, but it's shades of gray. So, there. It's it looks like something. It's totally gonna be a sweater.
It's a thing anyway.
My 12-ish rows, it's totally gonna be a sweater.
You'll get there. It'll just take time, that's all.
All right, that's it. That's my last thing.
That's it, that's all?
That's it.
I feel like I've done enough knitting and crocheting this week. This yarn's got a slight fuzz to it. It's making ripping it not fun.
I hate that.
But it's fine. We're making progress. All right. I suppose that moves us on to wool gathering.
It does.
Well, you just have the Patreon to do as a reminder for the e-knit for the month this month right now, I think. It's August. I haven't found stuff yet. Well, other than Tome Topple, but that's books.
So Patreon is a method of financially supporting us with basically a subscription each month, and that gives you access to our new Discord and our knit along that we're doing with Patreon members right now, and what else is in there?
Today we started building a swap exchange program for advent calendars for minis at the fingering weight for everyone. Yeah.
So if you are willing and able to financially support us, Patreon is the way to do that. You can find the link to that in our show notes.
Oh,
another
I
thing
need to do an experimental Tuesday post.
Oh yeah.
It's my week.
I should make something for that.
Well, it's my week to post this week, isn't it? Oh yeah, you make a week in advance.
I honestly don't remember.
Jocelyn will check, and one of the two of us will be doing it. Because now you have me second guessing myself.
Hang on, I put it in my calendar, which is sitting right here, and I can check.
I'm like, oh no, was it me last week? Did I miss?
Calendar says I am to post on the 11th next week.
So I'm right. It is me this week. Okay, good.
It is.
Oh.
Last week was just stunningly long.
Last week did feel very long.
Last week was stunningly long. Anyway, the other thing that Patreon membership will get you at the $5 or more a month level is we do an e-knit-in on Google Meet once a month on the second last Saturday of the month. And the next one of those coming up is August the 22nd at noon Central Daylight Time.
Noon Jocelyn time.
Seems to be the time that most time zones can make work.
It seems to work out really well, and it's good because it's like a Saturday, so it works for everybody. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in addition to chatting with them on Discord.
Yeah, so the Discord's been really fun. I have been seriously lurking the last few days and not talking. I'm lurking in my own Discord.
In her own Discord. Lurking in her own chat. Her own chat.
I'm just lurking. I'm reading the messages and just lurking.
You know what I'm going to start doing now is randomly posting, hey, Diana, are you lurking? Let's see if I can get, oh, yes, I am.
I'm gonna need a lurk emoji.
Oh, can we get you a lurk emoji? That would be perfect.
Okay, I'll work on one. So when you call me out on it, I'll have it ready.
Excellent. Do that because I'm going to call you out for lurking.
Okay.
Uh,
I suppose I was also going to talk about my U-Haul stories.
because you drove a U-Haul in the middle of Toronto.
Yeah, so I've never driven anything bigger than like a utility van.
Sure. Have you ever driven in Toronto?
I also never driven in Toronto. Not Toronto proper. I've been as far as Etobicoke, which I like basically Toronto. But I was driving in downtown Toronto for the first time in a 26-foot U-Haul truck. It was great fun.
Oh God, my chest is starting to panic and hurt, and I've driven a U-Haul and I've driven in bigger cities, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, oh, I'm sweating for you. Oh man. Okay, that would have stressed the snot out of me. That would have been so stressful.
The stressful parts were so I only hit one curb. That's the only thing I hit the entire time. I hit one curb.
I've hit a garbage can before.
I didn't even do that. Like I ran over. I took a turn too tight in suburbia, and I ran over just some grass.
I was backing up just after I got my learner's license, and my dad made me drive to go get my sister from her friend's house, and we were backing up. So my sister, I'm 15, my sister's 14. She's in the backseat of the car. My dad's in the front with me. So dad's doing the dad backseat driver thing, where I don't know if everybody else's dads do it, but my dad's bad. He has to tell you how to drive while you're driving.
My mom does that. My dad's pretty chill.
Oh, no. I only did 2 lessons with my dad where he was allowed in the vehicle with me while I was driving, while I was learning. One made a lot of sense. The other one, I was backing out of a driveway and I backed into my sister's friend's mom's garbage cans. I had my driver's learners for a week.
It's just a garbage can.
I didn't even tip it over. I just tapped it. I tapped it.
See, I was thinking this was going to be like you hit it and like ran over it and crushed it.
I tapped it and it wobbled. And of course my sister's like, we're gonna die! As all younger siblings are supportive in that nature when their elder sibling is learning a new skill. So, that helped. Got home and I told my mother never was dad ever allowed to drive with me again, ever, while I was learning. Which was a lie. He took me out to the parking lot in the Keystone. It's called, it's the really big, they play hockey there in Brandon. Mm-hmm. And it's like the Westman Communication Center group now, or if you've lived in Brandon for a long time, but you still call it the Keystone Center. He took me out there post ice storm, pre-salting, and his real weird drive stick shift truck. I took all the weight out of the back of the truck and put it in the cab and made me spin donuts until I got used to controlling the truck while it was spinning to bring it to a stop without hitting things.
I mean, that's not a bad lesson.
It came in really handy a couple of years later, so and it gave me a good sense of control on the roads. But yeah, those only 2 times my dad drove me. I'm sorry, I interrupted your U-Haul story, but I've hit a garbage can.
All right, so the scary things were lane changing on the expressway.
Holy shit.
Thank goodness I only had to do 1 lane change. So, because I can't really tell how long I am, right?
Blind spots for days.
And you can't shoulder check. So you just got these huge wing mirrors that are and this truck has no suspension, so they're just shaking, and I'm like, that car's probably far enough back. I'm just gonna signal for a good 5 seconds and okay, car, you better be out of my way because I'm moving.
Oh my word.
I didn't hit anyone. Nobody even honked at me, so I think I did okay.
Oh, you did really well.
The other stressful thing was
Your brother owes you a huge Christmas present.
I paid for all my gas and food and stuff, so.
Okay.
So, I can be the good big sister.
Yep.
But the other unnerving thing was when we got there, there's like, it's downtown, so there's just one-way streets, but they all go the same one way. It's not like Winnipeg where they alternate directions of one ways. It's all the same one way, except sometimes then they just stop and it's one way back the other. So we're at this super awkward corner where it's a one way, but on the other side of the street it's a one way back this way. So I can't keep going down the street, and there's nowhere to park on this quiet one way.
They've got that in downtown or in Osborne, down by your old apartment.
Oh,
They
do
had
they?
that one, yeah. There's that one way where you get to one street. I think it was like one of the streets just up from where one of my old apartments in Osborne was,
Oh,
and
maybe.
yours. Yeah, and it hit one way to off Corden this way, but then you got a couple streets down, and then it one way this way up from River.
Yes, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was
so
awkward in Winnipeg. Never mind Toronto.
But then you've got a 4-lane main street that you can't park on during rush hour, and we got there like 20 minutes before rush hour.
Oh no.
So we parked there in the no parking zone. Like, never mind the don't park here during rush hour. We parked straight up in the no parking zone. There was another truck there. We pulled up right close behind the other truck, and we're just like, well, if anybody tells us to move, we'll be like, okay, great, where?
Yep.
Because there was nowhere else to put this giant truck.
Oh, but you got it. You got them all moved in. They're all good.
Yeah, we unloaded that truck lickety-split. And then I took it out of the no parking zone before anybody decided that, we needed a ticket or something.
That makes sense.
So, that was a little stressful because there's tram tracks on there too. So, like, people are like making turns and there's trams and tram stops and there's like all this activity at this corner. I'm like, oh gosh. And I'm just standing there by the back of this open trailer to make sure nobody walks off with stuff. So I'm just like, I've got head on traffic, like trams and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is scary.
Oh my word, no. So much no right now. Whoa.
So, yeah, I was tired that day. So I left here. I left here at 8:30 in the morning to get to Toronto to go do all this stuff. And I didn't get home until I think 11:30 that night.
Holy crap.
Partially because my GPS crapped out on the way home and I missed my turnoff. So
Oops.
I had to take the next turnoff, which involved driving all the way up through Kitchener instead of just coming in from the 401, which was annoying. But yeah, that's my story. I drove a big truck and it was actually okay. It was heckin' stressful, but I didn't hit anything. Nobody honked at me. It was all right. Oh, and I almost got stuck in a gas station. Everything was fine, and then I almost got stuck in a gas station. No, I pulled in because you have to refill the thing with gas before you take it back, right?
Yep.
So I pulled into this gas station, not really thinking about it.
How hard can it be to get gas?
Yeah, so I just got gas, and then as I'm getting gas, I'm like looking at the layout of this parking lot, and I'm like, I don't think I can make that turn to get to the exit, because the way things were, I had to drive like through the lines of pumps, straight at the like convenience store building, and then make this left turn. And like I might have been able to do it if there were no cars, but there were like 3 cars in there, and I was not making that turn. So I had to. Luckily, my brother was there driving my car to fill it up with gas.
Okay.
So he pulled up right behind the truck, and so we were able to like clear space behind the truck, and like he held people off, and I like backed up the truck and went out the indoor because I was not getting out the outdoor.
Oh.
I may have slightly run over the curb, but that was because it was one of the angled indoors, and like I had to. Like there was nothing else I could do.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay. This is getting difficult to frog. I've got some random strands going on. I'm going to have to continue that later.
So that's my story.
That is hilarious. I love it. I'm glad you survived. I'm glad it went well and you checked off that box. and that you love your brother. All right, we got books left, yeah?
Yeah, let's talk about some books.
Jocelyn read a lot of books. This should not shock anybody. Diana has been sucked into the side changeling world. You will never hear the end of Nalini Singh ever again.
Nope. Because my other book that I'm reading, that Algorithms of Oppression, is just, it's heavy and technical, and you know what? When I'm doing color work, I want something light and fluffy, and Psy Changelings is exactly what I want.
So good.
I read a book and a half this last week. Would have been 2 books, except I had lost a day to moving.
Which I think should tell you how good of an author she is, not at the speed at which I consume the books, but at the speed at which you're consuming the books.
2 books in a week is
That's
unusual.
a lot of book. That's a lot of book.
I don't think I've read 2 books in a week since I was a teenager.
And you're not a hardcore reader. Like I'm an intense reader, but I always have been. You are a lot closer to like normal people who have lives and don't just read every day, all day for days on end.
I used to be as a teenager, but then I picked up knitting and computers and other things that require my eyeballs.
Nope, I can't seem to give it up. And I won't until I absolutely have to. So that's fine. I think it's great. I am so happy you enjoy the series. I cannot wait for you to explore more of the world because there's 19 books, so you got plenty to explore. And they're all good. Even the ones I don't even like that much, they're still good.
Well, I look forward to the next month and a half of reading.
At 2 books, almost 2 books a week, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's like 2.5 months, yeah.
Yeah, that should get you into the fall. It'll be fine. And I'm also looking forward to like your top 5.
Okay.
Overall. I want to see what your top 5 are versus my top 5 because we've never been able to do that before with a series.
Okay, I will keep mental notes.
I'm just re-listening to books because I'm writing reviews now. So there is no particular order for mine. I'm assuming you read Slave to Sensation, and then I forget what book 2 is.
It is, I just wrote down Psy Changing series. Something about fire.
Branded by Fire.
Sounds right.
Could be wrong, but I think you're right. Could be wrong.
I can find out. It's right here. App says.
Silence.
App says Visions of Heat. There we go.
Visions of Heat. Okay, Branded by Fire might be later. Which is good. I'm excited for you. And remember, you got to keep reading till you get to the point where you have the changeling bear and the bad Russian accent saying, "Be sneaky like a cat. Don't be bear."
I'm so excited to have Russian bear change.
Oh my god!
It sounds great.
And the personality that's set up for them, so like they are the gregarious party lovers. So they had like one chapter splitting where it was like it was an email and it was a bar charging the group, the Pride group, Changeling subsect, whatever, like the bear group in Russia with damages from the bar. So it like listed tables, chairs, and costs, and it said booze 0, and then it literally had the owner of the bar going, "Because your bears didn't waste any of the booze, we're sending that charge to the Wolf Clan." What? What? This sounds like a group I need to party with. Like people wearing bear form, wearing glasses, passed out, getting decorated by small bears. They got bejewels braided in their fur. Like,
sounds like a good. Like the changelings just sound like so much fun.
Like yes, you are a delightful group of don't actually exist human species adjacent sort of people that I would love if you were real, because that would be so funny. So funny. So I finished re-listening to Shield of Winter and I wrote my review. And then I went and listened to Wolf Rain and wrote my review. And then I listened to Silver Silence and wrote my review. I am not doing them in order anymore because I did them in order once already. So it's completely random, but those are all the Nalini Singh Sai series that I'm currently re-listening to so I can write the reviews and have the right story points in, so that I'm not getting story points mixed up across different books, which would be bad.
Mhm.
And then I fell off the deep end and read a 656-page book at the start of a big fantasy series by Brent Weeks called The Way of Shadows.
You just throw a 600-page book in there just for funsies.
Just for funsies. Tossed it in. It was really good, and I was listening to it, and then I'd be listening to it, and then I'd realize I'd listened to 12 hours of it in one go. Hadn't taken my
Wow.
headphones off all day. I had literally done my dishes, swept my floor, done my knitting, did the laundry, like whatever it was I was doing for the day. And I'd literally puttered around the house all day listening to this audiobook.
Goodness.
Nothing else had happened. So, like, good series. I'm going to hold off on book 2 and book 3 till Tome Topple starts, because I think that's starting on, like, the 14th or something. Either next week or the week after. So, I'm going to keep doing reviews and stuff for older books that I've already listened to this year, and re-listening if I have to get the points straight. And then when Tome Topple starts, I'll just do a 2-week binge of big books. Just 'cause.
Sounds good.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's it for me for books.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Sweet. Well, heavens knows we've been talking for a while.
It's warm in this room. This AC unit is failing to actually condition the air. It's just blowing it around.
Boo. Boo. Oh, well. In which case, I'll say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
Don't forget to knit.